Welcome back to Brews with the Homies. We have a special guest here, Thomas. Thanks for joining us. We're kind of going to go into a little bit of his background, what he does, and try some incredible beers. We gave him a couple choices from the fridge, and he picked out some good ones. So we're going to jump right into one, kind of get things flowing, see how everything is, and kind of go from there. So Thomas, we'll let you pick. Which one do you want to start off with?
What do we got? Dude, these are all big, like huge too.
Yeah.
Let's start with the sour.
All right, perfect.
That one's like the lowest ABV, right? Because everything else is like 12% or higher.
Yeah. So this
even the IPA.
Yeah. Hey, we go hard here. So this one's gonna be from Pure Project. It's their first sour for 2024 for their Cellar Syndicate program. 7% ABV, and it's a Puncheon-aged sour with mango and cardamom.
Oh, it doesn't even look like their branding. I didn't realize it was Pure Project.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's their Cellar Syndicate, like, branding thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's like a sub-brand?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like their yearly membership. Cheers, boys.
Cheers. Yeah, cheers now. Down that way. Ooh, that smells delicious.
Just slam it. It's a beer shot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good. That was good. I got notes of beer.
Notes of beer. So how was it? Oh, it was good.
It tastes like juice. Just like fresh berry wine.
Honestly, like based off of this color, I low-key thought you poured me a mimosa out of
Yeah,
a bottle.
dude, that's what it looks like orange juice.
Yeah, that's what it looks
Straight
like.
oranges.
Hazy, orange. Like, which one is which? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, we're doing two hazies and
Yeah.
Well,
and
when
stout.
I
Like a
first
dang
smelled it
juicy
too, I was
one.
like, man, this is great a mimosa right here.
This is can I see the bottle? This is super easy drinking. I was expecting something way more tart, to be honest. Oh, it's from bottled 2023, a year ago.
Yeah. So this one, they said they started by aging the sour ale base in Hungarian oak Puncheon barrels for 14 months before infusing it with a mighty 462 pounds of organic mangoes and a dash of cardamom. So basically what they're saying you're going to get is aromas of like black peppercorn, honeydew, flavors of pressed mango juice, white wine, and a subtle oak to kind of wrap it all together.
I wish I had a better palate, because that stuff, I'm just like, I don't think any of that.
So that explains why I get that like very sharpness of the white wine and with the oak.
Okay.
Kind of like towards the end of it. That's why I was trying to figure out. I was like, there's something in here that is like wine-esque. And now that you said it, it clicks.
Oh, I get that, like, oakiness.
Yeah, the oakiness towards the end. But then there's like that, like, I don't know, white wine for me, like, sometimes there's that, like, very distinct taste of it that it, like, hits my tongue, and my tongue goes, there's something in here that's wine.
Yeah, it's like from the few times we've had wine, and then I've been having it a little bit more recently, so picking up those notes and everything you're saying, Dustin, you're definitely hitting all those points. And the nice thing is, as you keep drinking this, I think that's where you start to pick up things more, because at first it's just so crushable, so juice-like, you're kind of focused on that, and then as you drink it, you can kind of hit those other notes. But definitely a banger from Pure Project.
Yeah, I've never seen a barrel-aged sour that thick.
Yeah, I know, because you think it's orange juice or you think it's a fruited sour at that point, with how it kind of lingers on the glass.
The acidity's cut for sure by the mango.
Yeah.
Because it's not very, like, tart to me, like, or super tart. As tart as from, like, when I, like, smelled it, you get that, like, Brett smell. And I was like, oh, this is going to be, like, feel it back there. I don't get much of that, but it's still really good.
Well, what's funny is like when you pour, like, looking at it, I was like, is this like a 450 that you poured me? I was like, did you pull a, like, switcheroo? Like,
out of a bottle like that? But
so, Heron, what do you think, man?
I mean, it's definitely barrel-aged, and I mean, we both crushed it over here. I don't know. I just needed to keep going back because there's not a lot there. It's very subtle, but, like, you could pick apart, of course, the subtleties a little bit, but it's hard, and that's kind of why I had to finish it.
yeah.
I just had it. He's just thirsty. He's just parched.
Yeah, he needed something to
You're
get
right.
going.
He said it's a Friday the 13th. Got to start it off.
Oh shit! It is Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Happy
Yeah.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, normally we have like a pregame beer for the podcast.
You know what's,
to kind of get
you know
things
what's
going,
crazy
so.
about today, and I know this is so off topic. Somebody sent me this, and I was like, "You're lying to me." Today's National Think Positivity Day. I was like, the fuck? Like, are we just making up random holidays
Yes,
now?
yeah. No, that's all they're doing.
But then I was like, well, it's funny. It happened on Friday the 13th. So
yeah.
it's kind of like one of those weird ones.
Hey, we're drinking good beer, having a good time. So hey, there's our positivity right there.
I know, we've been playing this for like 3 years.
Yeah, and
That is
finally
true.
got you on here. So.
3 years, man. That's almost the whole like length of the pod so far.
I know. Yeah, we went out there pretty early on.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Dang, that's been that long. So now that the cat's out the bag, it's been 3 years planning it, and we kind of got to this point. We've like,
It's gonna be bad. This is the lowest views you're gonna get.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. The reason
He
why
just blended
is
in with the wall because he's so white.
hey, I am. We make the joke that
I
I
make
look
Heron
like
like really tan.
right.
Like, he is Mexican now.
Yeah, we make the joke that I'm a lighthouse. Anywhere I go, you turn off the light, you're like, oh, there's Dustin.
Oh my god.
But what I was getting at is it's been 3 years talking about it. You've been mentioned on the podcast a handful of times. You're here. So the big question is, how did you get into the beer scene?
Oh, okay. So it all started back in. I always like check my watch for time, and my watch like died, and I forgot to charge it last night. Even though time, like my watch doesn't say the year, but so I have to see like what year we're in right now.
It's like a safety little.
Yeah, like oh yeah,
press.
back in 2008 or whatever. When was it? It's like 22, so 15 years ago now is when I started with. I just started bartending, and at a dive bar essentially, and it was in Albuquerque. We served like New Belgium, Shiner. Like the craftiest beer we had was Odell. It was 90 shilling. I was like, oh, I love this. This is so good. It's amber with like a hop. And back at the time, I was like obsessed with like really hoppy IPAs and reds and ambers and everything. So I was like, oh, this is great. So I started there, and then that's when I first started in the beer world-ish, their service industry. Then fast forward like 5 years later, I'm managing a craft beer bar in New Mexico called Knob Hill Bar and Grill, and they don't exist anymore. But when I took it over the time, they had like all the generic handles on, like Dos Equis, Blue Moon, Stella. There's nothing wrong with those beers, but I was just like, I want to make craft beer, and I was like, I'm only gonna do American craft because like I don't want to deal with like Belgian and stuff like that. It's just too much to go from. I'm just like that. I need to narrow it down, and this is like craft boom hype like is like starting to happen and everything. So I added a bunch more taps and just rotated through like 200 or 300 different beers that year at this like small bar that like was mainly a restaurant, and we just did craft beer events like on the bar side, and then it was funny on the weekends it would turn to a club. So like
craft beer at the club. Let's go.
So like literally I would
Sounds like my kind of club.
it was we had like all these handles and people would order craft beer. I'm like, no dude, just order Dos Equis and I give you a whole 6-pack. I can pop them all open. Here's for your group. Like
pouring for groups like that. Your
like,
arm's getting tired.
What IPA do you have? It's like whatever's closest to me, and that's what I'd poured. Like here you go. I want a light beer. Okay, here you go. Like that. But so we won like a best craft beer bar in New Mexico. That was cool by like Craft Beer Magazine. And then Ballast Point came after me, and this is like pre-Constellation, and they're like, hey, do you want to be our rep? And I was like, yeah, of course. Then they put it on pause because they got bought out. Still got hired by them, and like at the time I had no idea like that they just like lowballed the heck out of me, like $40,000 to start, and they're like, but you get like a car allowance and this stuff, and I was like, oh, this is great, craft
free beer.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, let's do this. I'm gonna make like half what I made bartending, but yeah, this is what I need to do.
I got a car!
Yeah, like I was like, I just graduated college, and I was just like, gotta do something. So I did that, and then so did Ballast Point for New Mexico, and we had like crazy numbers. And then I got moved to Seattle to go sell up there. Then I'm living in Seattle, and like I moved from Albuquerque, moved to Seattle, and it's like dark, gloomy, like it's raining. Yeah, it's like was not ready for that.
Well, I mean, you did go from Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is
I'm from Illinois originally.
So my brother goes to UNM.
Oh yeah, I'm a Lobo.
Yeah.
Woof, woof, woof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he every time we go out there, I'm like, dude, this is like almost like I've walked into Iraq. Like
it's a little rough.
Yeah, I was like,
I love Albuquerque, but yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is kind of crazy. And then for you to go up to what you said, Seattle,
yeah,
that's a big difference.
I mean, the cost of living there, they're like, yeah, here's a $10,000 raise. You're like, oh, sick, $10,000, let's go. Then like, yeah, your rent's $1,700 for like the size of this like little thing. It's like It was a 400 square foot apartment.
Oh, jeez.
Or maybe it was 700 feet. Whatever it was super tiny. They're like, yeah, it's like a studio, but you got your own room. And then the room was just like a queen size bed could fit in it. That's it.
Yeah.
Had a closet and then sliding glass doors that were fogged. So that was like your room.
Privacy.
The kitchen was in a hallway.
What?
Like the hallway is like your kitchen, and you're like, all right, cool. So I moved there. And I was like, wow, this is so expensive, but like it was cool because I got to work with like Tornado up there, and Pine Box and Beer Junction, like a bunch of cool spots up there. So that was really neat. And then they hired a guy from Husa from Heineken USA to come over, and me and him, like at the time, like we did not get along. We get along now, like great, but. At the time, we did not get along because he was like, there's going to come a time and place where Ballast Point doesn't need to be in the craft beer bars. And I was like, I'm out. Like, that was like, I was like, nope, I need to get out. So then I'm literally in Bellingham, Washington, about to do an event. And I'm on an interview with Great Divide Brewing out of Colorado. And I'm on an interview with them. And I see my bosses calling me. I'm like, that's probably not good. Like, and I'm like, ignore. And like I already had like a hunch that like things like we were not at good ends. And so I get that call, I answer it, or like I finished the interview and I was like, sweet, I got a job, I'm ready to go. And then he's like, yeah, so meet me down in Seattle. Like I was like, I got an event to do. He's like, cancel it. Meet me down in Seattle, bring your computer, all this stuff. I was like, all right. So I stopped at a beer store, used the company credit card, got a bunch of beer for myself, and like got little food and everything. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a while, and ate and stuff. And then and then I moved down to Arizona, and then worked for Great Divide. And then while I was a beer up there, I had a meeting with Crescent Crown, my distributor at the time. And then that's actually where I met my wife, whose last name is Heron, by the way.
Another Heron.
Another Heron. Yeah. So like I met my wife there, and we just got married in Albuquerque.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Thanks. And then, but yeah, so I worked for them, and then I got hired by like a year later. Odell was like, "Hey, we want to hire you." Worked for Odell for 5 years, but like 4 years into it, like right after COVID, like I go to Wandering Tortoise and I go to buy some Bottle Logic beer. And I like walk in, but I didn't realize they weren't open yet. But I like just walk in, the door was unlocked, and I go to buy the beer, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't open yet." I was like, "Oh cool," but I was like, "Hey, I'm like it's spring, it's like winter break, like there's nothing going on. If I'm taking all this time off because like at the end of the year I just would like burn PTO just to use it, and because there's nothing to do as a beer rep.
Yeah.
They're like from like Christmas to New Year's, no one's buying beer, no one's changing any handles, no one's doing anything, so." Then I started, I was like, hey, if you ever need like a bartender, like let me know, because I hadn't bartended for years. And he was like, yeah, I'll let you know. And then my friend Katie was working there, and Travis, like two of my best friends, and they're like, yeah, we put a word in with Shay to hire you. I was like, all right, cool. So I get a text, hey, can you work these days? Because a bunch of people had COVID. Yeah. So I had to go cover shifts. And then I was like, yeah, sure, I'd do it. And then I like started working there, and then I was doing both Odell and that for a while. And then Odell and I separated and just did Tortoise for a while. And I started doing that, and then sorry, I'm taking up a ton of time.
No, you're good. We have plenty of time.
We got plenty of time.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So
Cool to go through the journey.
Yeah, I'm working at Tortoise, and like I am like a control freak. So I was like, I don't like how they're doing everything here. And I was like, we're going to change the boards. We're going to make everything like set styles. So like the list is always balanced. Because like you'd like walk in. I'd be so mad. I'd like walk in on a Thursday night, look at the board and be like, someone would be like, hey, can I grab a West Coast IPA from you? I was like, we have 13 hazies on. We have no West Coast. And I have 7 sours and 2 lagers. And I would be like, whatever, like the mix. And I was just like, all right, I got to fix this. And I like slowly crept my way to like running it and stuff like that. But then one day I was hanging in Anaheim, and I was having beers with Brandon Buckner, who will be at Free the Whales on Saturday. He's one of the owners of Bottle Logic, and we were having beers. He's like, hey, the guys from Tripping Animals are going to come out next week. I was like, oh, word. And he's like, you should come out. And I was like, all right. And like, I didn't even know who Tripping Animals was at the time. Like, this is 4 years ago. Okay. And I didn't know who they were. But I was like, yeah, of course I'm going to come out, because I like was trying to bring new brands to Arizona for Wandering. And then I come out there, and he picks me up from the airport. Like, I literally am like working for Odell that day, and like we're just sitting there, and like, of course, the tripping guys are taking forever. They're late, and then I meet with them, and I was like, hey, I want to bring you guys to Arizona. They're like, oh yeah, for sure, just email us. I was like, all right, I didn't really think anything of it, and we drank beers and stuff in Anaheim, and then I flew out that night. Like, literally, like I left. I literally left during dinner with all of them. I was like, hey, I gotta go catch a flight. I gotta go back because I think I worked the next day. And then, Eker reached out to me and was like, hey, yeah, you want to talk to you about distributing you guys there? And then I set that up, and then that was the first brand I brought to Arizona.
That's awesome.
And it was cool. We did really well. Now we're like their second biggest state, which is wild, like behind Florida. So that's the only one that beats them, which is cool. And then, flash forward like a year and a half later, and we're drinking beers on the patio in my yard because we had a huge tap takeover at Tortoise, and we're drinking beers, and it's like late, and we're pretty drunk, and I was like, hey, if you guys need help with like the West Coast, like let me know. I'll sell your beer out here and in California. And they're like, okay, that'd be sick. And I was like, didn't think anything of it because like we're all drinking. Then like 4 months later goes by, and Eker calls me. He's like, hey, remember the conversation on your patio? I was like, yeah. He's like, you want to sell for us? And I was like, yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, let's go.
And so we started doing that. So that's been cool. But then, so I'm doing that. Then like Tortoise and I separate, and then, but like 6 months before Tortoise and I separated, Luke Manuel, who runs or owns Manuel Brothers, a small distributor out there, and who brought in tripping, like who I'd use, like I'd get brands in and then use him as the vessel. And he's like, hey, you want to do sales for me? And I was like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
So we start off, and it's Great Notion, Tripping, and Weldworks. So we have 3 brands. So I was like, all right, this is cool. And we start pre-selling that, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just like going to keep going. And so like over the last year and a half, we are now up to 40 brands. Jeez. Yeah, and it's crazy how many brands we bring in now. And it's fun. So now, like, if you like see a beer on the shelf, like it's probably through us. It's wild because everyone's like, all the bigger distributors are complaining about us, and they are like, they literally told me the account, they're like, leave some space for the small guys. And I was like, what?
Yeah,
like, because they said they didn't want to order something, and I was like, the small guys, like, you realize it's like it's Luke, me, and then 10 guys in the warehouse, and then 7 drivers. Like, that's the company. And his wife, who does, like, other, like, invoicing and stuff like that, too. Office stuff, too. That's it. Like, I was like, leave some for the small guys? You guys are...
What do you think that...
I was like, we are the smallest guys.
We're the textbook definition of small guys.
I was like, what are you talking about? Like, it's me. Like, leave some for the small guys. You guys have, like, you're in 3... Like, because the distributor... I won't mention their name, but they're in 3 different states. They're in California, Idaho, and Arizona, and they're like, leave some for the small guys. And I was like, what?
Yeah, just because you're building this and getting all this.
Hey, it's because they're jealous. They didn't see the vision, all right?
Yeah, they didn't.
You know?
Yeah, they didn't.
They didn't see the vision of all these other breweries. I feel like that's kind of some of the problem with the distributors. They kind of just want like the big name brand stuff, and they don't realize like the craft beer community is when they find a good like place that has good beer, good cans, everything. Hey, we're gonna go get that.
Loyal. We're gonna go to these places that are distroing it. We're gonna find them in the market.
It's funny to me because like it's the whole distro thing. It's like for me like Beer Zombies has allowed us to have all these different beers, right? So then you start going to these places and start mentioning it, and these places are like, hey, can we start getting some? Can we start doing this? And then you start seeing that like Speedy Mart here, or like the outlet stores or the bottle shops here start carrying all these beers. Like, oh shit! Like, all right, let's go, let's have these. So it's always cool to see like when we get new like breweries come into town, new everything, because we're just like we sit here and go, oh fuck, I've never heard that before. Let's try it. Phase 3 was one of them.
That was so cool. Yeah, because I posted that the other day. I found it and I was like, I'm sure this guy has something to do with bringing something.
No, that's not me. No.
But you did.
I brought him to Arizona though.
Okay, that's cool.
I'm from Illinois originally, so like I was like, all right, I got Hot Butcher first. Next was Phase 3. Next was More Brewing.
Okay.
And then Energy City, and then next is Solomon Oath. We're getting out of Naperville, and then I can't remember if there's one other, but I'm like, there's a really small one. What is their name? Roaring Table.
Okay.
A super small one that's like down the street from Phase 3.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, yeah, you guys want to distribute with this? They're like, that sounds sick, awesome. But like the thing with Arizona is it takes like 2 months to get their license at the earliest, and they got to do fingerprints and all this stuff. So that's like the only thing that slows me down. But it's been really fun. It's cool because we get to bring in, like, everything's pre-order basis. So like we'll go to accounts and be like, hey, here's everything from like Phase 3 this month that's going to be brewed in the whole month. We'll get it shipped on the last day it's brewed, and everything will be here. You'll know the date. So the oldest you'll get is like 3 to 4 weeks, but then it's all pre-sold, so it goes to the accounts instantly.
Yeah.
So like the consumer gets the beer super fresh, like,
And that's huge. That's
yeah,
nice.
it's
very
and
good.
that helps. Like, so you, and also everyone's doing like one case only, so like the beer's rotating more and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
so,
not just sitting on the
yeah,
shelf.
we're fortunate because Arizona's a COD state, so a cash on delivery.
Yeah.
So accounts are like, I'll take 20 cases because they don't want to
Yeah.
upfront like 20 cases. That's like $500, or that 20 cases is like they're $90 cases each at least.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that's $2,000. Not gonna be like, yeah, I want to spend $2,000 on this brand I've never tried. Like.
Yeah.
They're like, here, give me a case of this. So it helps with rotation. But yeah, like that same distributor we took Mortalis from, and we got them, which was funny because I was playing disc golf with Kyle, who owns Horace, and we were. He's like, you want to take a trip to upstate New York and go brew a collab with Mortalis and play some disc golf? I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a great time. Come in.
So yeah, we've gone, like, our other trip was North Carolina. We played in San Diego and Phoenix too. I get to be his caddy when he plays in a tournament here in Phoenix, or
nice.
there in Phoenix.
Yeah.
We're not in Phoenix, but yeah. So like we're literally, it's me, Kyle, Paul, and we're at their place, the Richmond in Rochester, New York, and we're drinking beers. And I was like, hey, this is your pricing through this distributor, like, and like I guarantee, like, I can help you sell it, like your beer, like, because distributors, the problem is they'll order, like, they just order what they think will sell, and then they order a ton of it.
Yeah.
And versus like, hey, like giving the accounts that option, so like everything's fresh. So like I'd be like, dude, you're sitting on this beer, and it's
This is the reason why it's not
insane
getting moved.
price, yeah.
You guys have great beer. There's no reason why it shouldn't be
I was
moving.
like, we can
gotta-
lower the price and everything and get it to customers. He's like, yeah, I think we'll do this. And then like him and Kyle that night we were drinking, and Kyle helped me plan my engagement
Nice.
in Wisconsin. Yeah, so like I made him thank you cards to send to him this week when I get home. But yeah, that was fun. So yeah, me, Kyle, and Paul planned my engagement in Milwaukee for Nicole, and then and now we've had them, and we've done orders like every month with them. And Scout that distributor did I don't care. They did 2 orders in a whole year, and we've had them since April. So we've done April, May, June, July, August, September, October. November's already pre-sold, so 9
Wow,
orders.
that's
So
crazy.
In a lower time, we've done 9 orders, and yeah, so it's been cool to see that, like, to show, like, I get to sell my friends' brands from around the country and be like,
That's an
look,
awesome
dude, like,
position.
yeah, it's sick. So I like go
So-
play disc golf and
Now, with all this talk about beer,
Oh yeah,
and
he
all
wants
this-
to.
let's have
settle
another
it.
one.
Yeah.
Hey, talking
Yeah,
about
let's talk.
Mortalis, right?
oh yeah, let's go to Mortalis then.
Yeah.
it's a good pivot point.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll go to
yeah.
Mortalis since
It's a good pivot point.
Yeah, since we were just talking about, but this one,
I'm so excited for this one.
yeah, this one's a great one. We've talked about it before on the podcast. We haven't had this one, but as above, as below. Talked about it so many times. We've had it in the cans. I've had it barrel aged a few other times, but this one's the marshmallow variant.
I've never had a barrel aged version of this.
Yeah, it's delicious. 12%er, barrel aged, imperial stout, brewed with coffee and marshmallow.
You know, for somebody over here that doesn't like coffee ever, this is perfect.
Well, because it cuts it.
Yeah, it
Again,
cuts
the
the
acidity of it.
Yeah, it cuts the part that I don't like about coffee.
That bitterness.
The bitterness and like just how aggressive it is. This to me is like very approachable. I don't know why.
That marshmallow.
It balances out,
Oh,
and then it keeps it from getting too sweet too.
Yeah.
That's why I love, because coffee stouts by themselves, I do not like.
Yeah.
Like, unless it's certain ones, it depends. Like certain barrel aged ones, because the coffee falls off over time, and then you get like, depending on the barrel, like it pairs really well. Like I had one from, I think it was Stripping, that they did a coffee stout but aged in wine barrels.
Ooh.
So you got like notes of like blueberry and like that, like almost like, I don't know, like that Merlot flavor
Oh, yeah,
from it,
uh-huh.
you know, from the barrels. So like it paired really well, and it like changed the coffee flavor from bitter to like fruity.
Yeah.
So that was
Nice.
cool to see. Versus like you try a pure coffee stout and you're like,
Ooh.
Oh my god! Like,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm just drinking black coffee right now. But
So it's funny because like if you go back to our early episodes, like that are on like Apple or Spotify and all those like just the audio ones, you'll hear me when we drink it. Like you can hear like you can hear my face like kind of go like this, go oh god, like I'm like
yeah, that's great.
yeah,
I love this.
no, not at all, not at all. I'm like God, no, these stouts are not for me. Like I'm not gonna rate it because it's not for me. But then like I would say what a year ago now, 2 years where I've like. All right, man, this isn't that bad. Now that it's been longer, I'm like, all right, actually,
you've grown your palate. You've learned to love stouts.
This is so good, though.
It's been abuse from these two over here.
Yeah,
you know?
like, you're drinking stouts.
You're trying it.
Also, like I love like the viscosity of stouts now. The flavors are just so much more there than they used to be. And like when you have like this more viscous mouthfeel, it's a better like engine for the flavors to come through.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're getting a lot of different flavors. Like, and right when you taste it, we talk about the coffee and the marshmallow, but there's even like notes of like maybe pecan in there, like a dash of cinnamon. You're getting these different flavors that play very well together, and it not being too thick, too thin. It's like that perfect mouthfeel
really
to
good.
allow that to be drinkable and at 12%.
Right.
I like it because sometimes you could get up there and have a 20% stout, or the other night we had a 17% stout. Delicious, we love it, but it's nice to have a little bit easier.
Yeah, I have to get you guys a bottle of. Have you seen the We're All Replaceable?
no.
Oh my gosh. So Anchorage is one of the brands that I bring in. Anchorage and Horace did a collab together, and it was one of my favorite stouts I've ever had.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of the owl one with the eyes. Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, wait, we've definitely had an Anchorage Horse Stout before.
yeah, but not this one.
Wait until you hear this description.
Okay.
Okay, so on Untapped, it's a 4.64. I gave it a 5 because I always hype up my friends. And it was amazing. It was one of the best beers I've ever had. Quadruple barrel aged imperial stout, aged in Henry McKenna bourbon barrels for 18 months, then Old Elk bourbon for 14 months, then Russell Reserve bourbon barrels for 8 months. Then Burheim barrel-proof bourbon barrels for 6 months, finished on Republic of Congo and Uganda vanilla beans, blended with double oaked blessed imperial stout, aged 27 months in a blend of Willet and Calumet Farm bourbon barrels, finished on toasted/raw coconut and Madagascar vanilla beans.
That honestly,
That's a definition of those two breweries, Anchorage and Horace. They're like, how many barrels can we fit into this stout?
Oh my God.
How can we make it as crazy as possible?
I want to take this. I want to take that stout specifically, give it to somebody that's an expert in bourbon that can pinpoint the barrels and be like, how many barrels can you point out on this?
Yeah,
How
right?
can you guess all the barrels?
Can you,
That'd be
can you
insane.
guess all the
Dude,
barrels?
When you see the label, so it's like the same size as this, and it's like a paragraph. It goes like all the way down, and then down to here. It's just all
Just
the
all
whole
the file
description. It's like
description.
all of it is just that. Like it just goes all the way around.
That
It's
is-
the funniest thing. But
That is absolutely hilarious that they put a whole ass paragraph on the front of that.
yeah, and it just goes. It's like the smallest font, but it just goes and then over. Like the whole label, it wraps around.
I want to know with somebody who doesn't know what a stout is or like what craft
just
beer is,
show
and
them
you
that.
show them that and be like, hey, like look at this. They're like, wait, is that a warning label at the bottom?
Yeah, like-
Don't worry.
yeah. What is that?
Yeah, what is that? So, you mentioned, shoot, I'm gonna say it wrong, but frisbee golf.
Disc golf.
Disc golf. There we go. I don't know why I say frisbee.
Frisbee golf, I don't
yeah,
care.
but Heron and our buddy Nick have gotten me into it.
Oh hell yeah!
And there's a couple of places out here that we should, one of these days when you're out here a little bit longer, we should go play.
Yeah, it's great. We can drink beer and
Yes.
that's the best
Yes.
thing about it. Yeah, when you guys come down, we have so many courses. So.
Oh, so you know what that means. It sounds like we
We're
got
going to Arizona.
It sounds like we're
All
going
right.
to Arizona.
Hello, Arizona.
And
Yeah.
then we're gonna have to bring the podcast equipment too,
Yeah.
because we got to talk about our.
Let's get an Airbnb
our route.
then. All
Yeah,
Airbnb.
Airbnb.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I actually found a couple Airbnbs out there in Arizona where it's like one of those like group ones where they have like all the different like pool types and everything, like lazy river. I was like, all right, we definitely got to do something.
Just show that, hey, go play some frisbee golf, hang out, and then go back to the pool.
We don't have
record an
to,
episode.
we don't have to go crazy and go. Oh, we have to do all this in Arizona. No, let's just hang out,
Have a
bring
good
some
time.
beer.
It's,
Just-
I
yeah.
love Arizona. It's so much fun. It's the heat, obviously. You guys deal with it too, but,
Right.
but you get used to it. working from home too, you know, like
Oh, yeah.
you just like,
Yeah, I don't
like
go
nah, I'm
outside.
not going out.
Well, and it's kind of the same thing. Like, is like everybody's like, how do you guys deal with the Vegas heat? We're like, we just know the times of days where we can go outside and where we're just like, all right, we're staying in.
Yeah,
Like,
so
fuck
just
that.
don't go deal with it.
How do you do in winter? Like, ask those same people.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do in winter?
Yeah, when it's
we
like
stay
negative
home.
2. Yeah.
Like, I can actually, like, it doesn't matter how hot it is. I can still drive my car to wherever I need to go.
Exactly.
Tell me during a snowstorm how you're going to go to the grocery store. Even.
Also,
Like,
the little difference I will say is because I've experienced Colorado winters, and
I was in
experienced
Illinois winter. So.
Yeah, so like I've experienced some crazy winters, and let me tell you, everybody's like, man, this shit sucks. I was like, I would rather deal with this than the 114 that I got to deal with back at home. They're like, really? I was like,
Yeah.
I was
See,
like,
I'm on the
no.
same
So, but here's the thing though. For me, I love the cold. So when I go out there, everybody's like all bundled up in their like clothes and stuff. I'm out there in basketball shorts and a hoodie.
Oh, I'm fine with the cold for a minute, but I don't want to live in it ever again.
Yeah,
Growing up, we literally our driveway went like this. So
Oh,
it's
no.
one side's super steep, the other side's like slowly steep. So like obviously you can't go up that side, like even if you shovel it. So you shovel like you'd wake up before school because they never cancel it and be like,
like,
inches
deal
of
with it.
snow,
You're gonna-
and you'd be like, they're like delayed start by 15 minutes. You're like, cool, like.
cool. It's still gonna
So-
take me an hour to get there.
Yeah, so you literally shovel 2 paths up, and then you try to get up and hope you can get it, and you have to salt your driveway. I don't want to do that. I don't have to shovel sunshine.
Yeah, that's the one thing is that as much as I love Colorado and like my whole family's from there, I can't deal with the winters. I don't want to shovel snow.
No,
No.
I don't have to shovel sunshine. That's the bottom line.
Exactly.
And there's AC, just jump in your car. Hey, nowadays with the remote start, you
Yeah.
can get that thing cooled down.
I don't have to, like, I'm never like, oh, you know what, I gotta run the store, but I might hit black ice and die.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that
I
sun's
probably
gonna
shouldn't
blind
go.
you, I don't know.
Yeah, like, no, dude, I'll take the heat all day, and the fact that I can drive to the store and not die, you know?
Yeah.
I went to play a pond hockey tournament in Eagle River, Wisconsin, so super northern Wisconsin. And we fly into Minneapolis, and since I'm like the one from the Midwest, they're like, "You're driving." I was like, "All right, cool."
Thanks,
Like,
guys.
I'm fine with snow, and it's not just snow; it's a blizzard. Like
Yeah.
it's like, and luckily we had like a Jeep Grand Cherokee with like snow mode on it, and I was like, "Thank God."
Yeah, those drives are not the funnest drives.
No, but like literally, you're just like watching the thin line, like the yellow line, be like, all right, this is the road, I hope, and just like
Yeah.
going, and like everyone's still like going fast and stuff, and you're going fast, and you're just like, all right, let's pray. And, yeah, it was that was
Yellow
rough.
line, lead me home,
no,
please.
seriously, it's the yellow line, or if you find an 18-wheeler, you're just like, all right, dude. Like,
Yeah, it was that weekend we played pond, and it was -17 on the last day.
oh god.
And they're like, "You want to watch like our friends team play?" I was like, "No, just sit in the car. I'm good." But like the other days, it was I think the high was like -4. So we're like playing, and I'm like, you go to an ice fishing tent to change into your gear, and you're wearing like long underwear under it, and like thermal stuff, like the Nike nice stuff, and then you go play. And then you change back, and you're like, you feel fine, and then you're drinking your beer, like walking around watching games, and it freezes halfway through, and you're just like sick.
That's a
ain't
wild
drinking fast enough.
experience.
Yeah, because and then like it was literally -12, and it's like dumping snow, but it was like the purest form of that sport on earth. Like you're literally sitting there, and it's like dumping snow. And you're just looking around as a giant lake with like all these hockey games going on at once because they shovel different rinks into it.
Nice.
And then you look behind you, and there's fires going on the lake and everything like that. And
That is so sick.
everyone's camped out. They're drinking beers. There's tents set up. It was the cool, like the most pure hockey. You're just like, this is insane. Like you just look around, and you're just like, Jesus.
That sounds like a good time.
It was
but
sick.
it sounds like one of those experiences where like you have like it's like when you go to a festival and do camping, right? Like everybody's there for the music, but then like before the festival or and like during, everybody around you when they're partying, drinking, you're just like, oh yeah, like I can only imagine.
In the moment, just
Yeah.
enjoying everything.
No, you're fine. Like
That
it's just
sounds-
wild though, and you're like, all right, I gotta go change, and you're like, just you go in this thing, and there's a heater in it. It's ice. The ice is so thick that like you have a heater on it, and you just have like those like workout pads, you know, those like black things that like puzzle pieces that set together is the flooring, and you're literally you just go sit in there, you change real quick, and then go out and play, and then come back and change, and then the beer every game you got a 12-pack. and your team was only 5 people. So every game you played, you got a 12-pack of beer, and you're like, hell yeah, let's go.
Oh, that sounds like a blast.
Yeah, that's all it was.
You need a cooler to keep the cold out. And you're like,
Well,
"Yeah, what?"
yeah, exactly. So you'd take 2 sled. You'd put the beer in a sled, and then put another sled on top of it to keep it warm, so it wouldn't freeze.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, like you literally had to.
You open the
When it's
can.
that cold, it's wild.
Yeah, it was like you literally walk around, and you're like, ah, fuck, like this, yeah.
And that's when you get like a wooden stick. You pop it in the opening, and then you get the can, cut it on the top, and you make it a popsicle.
Right? Yeah, dude, it was.
Yeah,
was
instead of like
crazy.
a koozie to like keep your beer cold, you need like a
A
little warmer
warmer,
koozie
yeah.
to keep your beer at the ideal
Yeah.
temperature on the reverse
Dude,
it.
it was so wild though. I've never had a beer freeze in my hand, and you're just like, all right.
I don't know what to do.
I can
Come on.
imagine if your hand, like, you have to wear gloves when it's like -17,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
if
covering
you're
all that skin.
if not, you're losing fingertips.
Oh
and
yeah,
everything.
and it was wild. Like yeah, because even that day, like I think the high was like -4.
Jesus.
And when you're playing, it just you don't think anything of it. It's super fun, and it's just like pond hockey. Like the rink is super small, and you don't realize that. So you're like sprinting, and then all of a sudden you hit a snowbank and eat shit into the snow, and you're just like, oh yeah, I forgot it's there. Like, and then like you look down, and it's just like choppy. Like it's
You hit one of those grooves, you're like,
yeah,
"Oh,
and you're like, all right, like so, like you want to like stare down and look down at the puck a little bit, but they always say like how keep your heads up, and you're looking down though, and the second you look down, you just eat shit because you just hit
like a crater.
a little crater. But like if you don't look up, you just skate fine, you're fine. But the second you look at one of those, you just like
You're just like shit.
you're like damn it.
That is that's actually pretty cool. Like I gotta look this up to see like somebody's got photos of it.
Oh, I'll show you.
Oh.
Dude, it's the coolest thing ever.
Because I can only imagine you, like, if you're, like, somebody that's driving past this and you see all these people on the lake playing, like, hockey and then camping out on there, you're probably just like, what the fuck is
It
going
is
on?
that cold. These
Yeah.
people are wild. And
Yeah.
like, all the guys are having the best time of their life, drinking beer, playing. Like,
Dude, it was wild. Like, let me see.
Driving.
while
on
you're
a
looking for that, I'm going
snowmobile,
to
dude.
introduce the next beer so we can have something to sip on while we talk. This one is from Brujos. I talked about it before. We haven't had it on the pod. Quadruple dry hop hazy IPA. So we're going to be at 12%. And it's Apocalipsis.
Smells delicious.
So yeah, you can see like it's snowing,
Oh, wow.
and like so between games, you'd have to shovel the ice off. That's during a game. So yeah, you see it. It's like super small, and then it'll get kicked on there. So you get a timeout. You bring it out.
That is
And-
cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but like you can see how much it's dumping, and then like yeah, here's like the campsite.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, like look how much it's snowing.
Jeez.
That is so cool.
They live a different life, dude. I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
wouldn't-
it's white people. It's white people to the max. But yeah, like the snow level is just
Wow, that
that's
is
how much it was
absolutely
for a photo
crazy.
to show the snow. Like,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see all the sun. And it's just the background,
Yeah.
pure white.
and they had drink Wisconsinability there.
That is-
Drink Wisconsinability.
Yeah.
And fun fact about Wisconsin is they have 15 of the top 20 drunkest counties are in Wisconsin in the country.
Sounds about right.
If you see the map, it's just red in there, and then everywhere else there's like one in South Dakota, one here, and then it's just nothing but.
we know a couple people that are from Wisconsin,
Yeah.
and we've known them for being heavy drinkers, so
Yeah.
it does not surprise me at all.
Yeah, there was like one thing on like TikTok or Instagram, and it was like the Brits like saying, "Oh, we can outdrink any American," and they're like, "Have you gone to Wisconsin?" And they show them like eye like half open, like we just had 15 beers, like, and it's just started.
That's like Dustin's stories are like, when I go to Colorado, I wake up with a Coors, I have a Coors with breakfast, I have a Coors with lunch.
Well, so
Nonstop.
here's the difference though between Colorado and a lot of these places. Colorado's kind of has a restriction on like the percentage of alcohol that they're allowed to
Well,
sell.
they changed it now.
Before this
Yeah,
was before.
yeah, it was 4% at a grocery store.
So when I would go out there, we would buy Coors Light because I wasn't of age at the time. We would go up there and buy Coors Light, and we would literally from when I woke up to when I went to bed had a course in my hand.
That's funny.
And he's like, what do you mean you had like 20 cores? I was like, yeah, I had about 20. He goes, dude, it's like
the mountain water.
He goes, dude, their percentage, like, you're not fucked up. I was like, oh no. Colorado's got like
it's like 3.8.
Yeah. And he goes, really? I was like, yeah. So I was just drinking champagne up there, the Rocky Mountain champagne.
Yeah. Dude, it's wild. There's like a thing on like a reel or TikTok, and the person was like, and talking to a girl at a Badger game tailgating, and she's like, I'll wake up, I'll grab a Natty Light, have another Natty Light, then pop in a Zin, have another Natty Light, and another Light. Then I smoke a cigarette. And you're just like, my god.
My brother, he's a Lobo, and he
woof, woof.
Yeah. So he's in a frat. And
oh no!
And their frat has a very good relationship with one of the local like liquor stores up there. So he tends to like give them the alcohol that's about to expire for super cheap, right?
Yeah.
So he said every so often he'll give them the big PBR 100 can case. And he's like, when we do those for game days, he's like, you don't understand. He's like, the whole house goes crazy.
Dude, so I just looked it up, and it says the top 50 drunkest counties. Gosh, dang it, ads. My God, in Wisconsin, or in the country, and 41 of them are in Wisconsin.
Oh, Jesus!
41 of 50. Well played.
Well, they need a little pastime when they're making the cheese up there.
Dude, yeah, like look at this. There's the map, and you can see it's all.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Then that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Per capita, there's like 1,000 people up there. Everyone's drinking.
Yeah.
Everybody's up there. There's no such thing as drunk driving up there.
Dude, it's a misdemeanor.
Really?
And most of the time, the cop will follow you home.
Oh, nice.
So they're like, you know what? You could be as drunk as you want, but you ain't driving.
Don't
You're
get lost.
walking.
Don't get lost.
By the way,
or we're following you home.
Yeah.
By the way, we don't recommend you drink and drive. We're not advocating for it. No. If you
Actually, Las Vegas is the opposite.
yeah, they are right now actually doing a blitz.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So
I just Uber everywhere now. Like if I have more than 2 drinks, I'm
Yeah.
Ubering.
Yeah, that's what's so nice about Uber, all this stuff now.
well, that's the best part.
lifting.
Yeah.
That's the best part about Vegas is like
you can
a
get
lot
it
of
so
people-
easy. Yeah.
You can
cheap,
get
too.
and it's
Yeah.
well, yeah. It depends.
As long as you're going not on the strip.
Yeah.
And then that's
Well,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, like when I was out in Colorado, we did a Millennium show at Broncos Stadium, and we're like, we should probably
Let's
Uber.
ride.
Yeah, well, we don't talk about number 3 over here. But, right now, it's we believe, okay?
Oh, okay.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's
Why?
believe. Don't stop believing.
Why are you so white that you have to do this? Like you found the whitest quarterback in Russell Wilson, and then you got Bo Nix now.
Let me tell you, so when we traded for Russell Wilson,
He wants to bag on your Packers so bad, but you just hit him back to back. He doesn't know what to say. Dustin speechless. Very rare to see. That's a first.
Loses the debate immediately.
so
Are you gonna say that the Packers eat cats and dogs now?
No. So for the Broncos, and this is my heartbreak for the last 9
Let's
years.
see if he could come back from this, folks.
And so I bought the Russell Wilson jersey right after we traded for him. After it was official, and they were like, "Hey, you could buy the jersey." And on Sunday morning, that jersey is getting burnt before the game. It's we're doing a cleansing at the house right now.
Oh my god.
You're so lucky he can't come back and give you a little revenge. But I think it's better that Justin Fields is there. You know?
Let me tell you, I found a new song today. And the first one was "Don't Stop Believing."
Oh my god.
And
So
then
cringy.
yes, it is. And then this
Sponsored
dude,
by Whole Foods.
yeah, and then this whole dude came up with this song about Bo Nix, a whole rap.
Oh my god.
And
I'm literally getting goosebumps of how cringe.
and let me tell you, the song goes off. Nix is the fix. That's one of the lines.
Yeah, like Sean Payne was the fix too, but
First of all, don't get me started with Sean Payne. I've never been a Sean Payne fan.
No, it was
okay?
so funny. Like my friends who are Bronco fans were like, "The Broncos are back. They just beat the Packers in preseason." I was like, "Yeah, dude, they had their starters out for 3 quarters, and we had 45 starters sat."
Yeah, that's true.
But hey, you got Super Bowl 32.
Yeah, I was. That's
bitter.
that's the only card that I had to play.
You had a blind running back that scored.
Yeah, he didn't know where the fuck he was at. He said, Coach,
Give me the ball.
He said, Coach, I don't know where I'm at. He said, I'm not giving you the ball. He said, if you're not in the game, they know we're not giving you, they know what we're doing. Yeah. He's like, just go out there.
Yeah.
No, this is like well documented.
No, yeah, 100%
Mike
true.
Shanahan said straight up, just go out there and stand there. Yeah. Yes, Coach.
Yeah, because he was blind that right?
Yeah, after the run before that play that got him down there, that's when he got the concussion and just like, he was like, dude, I couldn't see shit.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. I was like, what? No! We lost the Super Bowl because of a blind running back.
Yeah. He couldn't see anything. And honestly, shout out Terrell Davis.
Yeah, dude, Terrell Davis is a beast, though. Monster.
Went from being a middle linebacker, made a big-ass hit on the kickoff on the first preseason game, and Shannon Sharp said, hey, Coach, we don't need these running backs you got now. You should play that guy. And ever since then, Hall of Fame career and 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, I still wish Shannon Sharp's brother was in the Hall of Fame.
Can I tell you what Shannon Sharp did at his Hall of Fame speech for Sterling? I will say that is by far one of the greatest Hall of Fame speeches I've ever heard.
You like watch that and you're like, I'm not gonna cry.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna cry. Like that is just like, dude, he just sat there and that was great.
And for him to say he gave his first Super Bowl ring to him, well, that was impressive. But then the second one, because we beat Atlanta first. And then the second one was against Favre.
I know.
Yeah.
But hey, let's ride.
No, it's Bronco country. We play future now, okay?
Dude, it's just, I don't know. Colorado's just cringy.
Let me tell you. I will say.
Where in Colorado are you from?
I'm actually born and raised in Vegas. But my dad's from Illinois. His brother.
Oh, shit. Where?
Not too sure. His brother actually, his younger brother played for Illinois with Darren Williams when they went to the national championship.
Oh, nice. U of I, yeah.
So my dad was born in Chicago, Illinois, and then ended up moving to Colorado. And then my mom, she's born and raised in Colorado, so their whole family is all over. I got family in Fort Collins, Boulder, Greeley, like Brighton, Thornton, all over the fucking place.
I lived in Aurora and Boulder.
Oh, let me tell you, Boulder's such a fun place.
Dude, it's wild.
But I will say my favorite stretch is when you go up to Frisco, then you got Dillon, and then you got, I forget what's after that, but you got those 3 little cities right there going up to the mountain, and I get into...
Frisco's so much fun.
Frisco is one of the best places to be.
Outer Range.
Outer Range,
oh
yes.
Yeah, he's been on his Outer Range.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Outer Range is one of my.
If you ever need it, just let me know. I'll send you some.
He's gonna be hitting you up all the time.
I was like, we get it. So
please.
They got coming out for GABF. They're doing a collab with Outer Range, Ology, Other Half, and Tripping Animals.
Oh please.
And Outer Range is brewing that one.
Please, please. I've been out here in Vegas. We get their drop every blue moon, and we've had
in the Steep and stuff, and Rango, and
we've had the same 3 ones now for the last 3 months, and I've
please,
I've literally the Speedy Mart that I go to, they realize oh, so you're the one that keeps buying these, and I'm like, yeah. They're like, okay, we'll just bring them all here now for you. I was like, cool.
Yeah, I made it. I literally talked with them because Wyatt, their one of their owners, came out and worked with me in Arizona. And I was like, yeah, dude, I just need more variety. Because, they'd be like, here's 6 SKUs, but, 3 of them are core, and then those. And I was like, look at the numbers. The one-offs are, popping through the roof, and then the core's drizzling
I will tell you, if you get your hands on them, I will take them off your hands, because I go through them like they're water.
Oh, yeah, I have, we can make it happen.
Yeah.
I have, we'll have a new shipment. The newest shipment comes next week. In Phoenix, and then after that, I'm doing pre-orders next month. Ooh. And then that's the one with the Ology and Tripping Animals collab, and Other Half.
Yes.
Yeah.
So before you go, we're gonna wrap this episode up here because we're almost out of hour. Almost.
Oh,
we mentioned it at the very top of the podcast. Free the whales.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Free the whales.
Free the whales. So, dude, 2 years ago, that was my first, hype brew fest I went to in Miami. This was my birthday fest, because it used to be on July 1st. My birthday's June 30th. Yeah. So I'd go out there, And I remember like the night before, since it was my birthday, we went out and
Back-to-back days? Oh, man.
in Miami. So we were out until like 4 or 5 in the morning, and oh my gosh, that hangover lasted for so long.
Can I tell you, I don't expect to leave that place and probably until about 10 or 11 because it's also UFC fight night.
Tomorrow.
Shane O'Malley's fighting. Like it's gonna be a wild ass time tomorrow.
Dude, and the beer list is insane.
So for everybody at home, Beer Zombies, what was it, Tuesday, Monday? They posted the full tap list.
Yeah.
And it's over 50 beers from like
we got so many, we got Fidens coming in.
Fidens is gonna be there.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So it's Fidens.
I'm like, I gotta drive home after.
So it's literally like a majority of the breweries that we've had on the podcast that we reviewed, talked about, and the ones we've recommended to people is going to be there.
Yeah, because Fidens is there, North Park is there,
North Park,
Tripping,
8-Bit, 450, Solaris, like all of these breweries that we've been telling you guys about. Other half, yeah.
Monkish.
Monkish.
Yeah.
I was like,
How did we forget that?
Well, sorry, you got a cooler over here that has the Rams helmet. I haven't been able to look that way. I haven't been able to look that way for a while now.
I know where you're going back.
I was like, I'm gonna keep looking away from that because
there's a lot of stuff that we need to throw on this podcast, including the snow, the Wisconsin drunkards, and apparently
we'll
this
have a bunch of pictures thrown.
Yeah, we're gonna have to edit the shit out of this thing. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm sorry, Heron.
Oh,
we made you jump.
Yeah, here's the map. I'll send you the video of the pond hockey so people can see it. Like what we're talking about in that section. So they're like, oh, that makes sense. Like they're like, oh, cool. They're just looking at
Yeah,
So
no, exactly.
We wish we could see.
So I will say, tomorrow we're all gonna be at Free the Whales.
Yep.
And I know that by the time this gets posted, Free the Whales will already be over.
Maybe.
So maybe. Who knows? We might just
maybe go for a week straight.
Yeah. Maybe. Who knows? But what I am gonna say, there is gonna be a recap.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're gonna do a better job of making sure the recap comes sooner.
Heron's gonna be working overtime on Sunday.
It sounds like we gotta throw Heron a couple dollars and be like, dude, here you go.
I need a lot of beer and a little bit of focus and maybe some cold brews, and I think we can make.
You know
Oh
what?
wait, we have one more beer.
Well, so we're gonna put that on our bite episode. We're gonna do a quick 10-minute episode.
Yeah.
Okay, sick.
So we'll end this one, wrap it up, and then that way we can make it nice and easy so people can follow along. But once again, guys, we appreciate you. Thank you. It's a long episode with Thomas. We appreciate you coming out.
I talk
here.
a lot. Sorry, guys.
Well, no, it's been 3 years in the making.
We had to cover it all, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and if I get going and have alcohol in front of me too, and I like telling stories and talking.
But that's the journey about sharing beers, and that's what this podcast is about.
Yeah, I like that.
So it's always a good time.
But
man.
until next time, everybody, cheers.
Cheers on my empty glasses.
Cheers.
All right, later, guys.